What is going on, everybody? You got Tone here, the coach of your Maine Red Clawitzers, and I am here bringing you guys our battle for week number 3 of Season 6 of the Major Pokemon League, where this week we are taking on the Baltimore Oriolus and their head coach in Choice CJ. Be sure to check him out. His links and stuff will be in the description down below, as well as the other coaches in the Major Pokemon League and the Twitter and all that stuff. Also, the link for the team builder portion of this battle will be in this first line in the description to give you a general idea of the sets we're bringing, what we're bringing, why we're bringing it, all that stuff. For a more condensed version of the team I'm bringing for this battle, we have a Subtoxic Protect, Thunderbolt, Leftovers, Raikou. I have an Autotomized 3 attacks, Flyinium Z Celesteela, a Life Orb 4 attacks, Lycanroc Dusk, a Stealth Rock 3 attacks, Rocky Helmet Swampert, a Trick Room 3 attacks, Pixie Plate, Gardevoir, and a bulky, mostly specially defensive Mega Venusaur for this battle. And as you can see, my opponent Choice CJ has decided to bring his Superior, the Quillfish, the Donphan, the Metagross, the Mega Charizard X, and the Braviary. So pretty much I more or less expected most of this team for the most part. Kind of expected Greninja a little bit, just because of the fact that it has the coverage that can deal with most of my mons, and he does have the Zardex, which can deal with my Celesteela, so I figured he would try to bring something like Greninja with like extra sensory to deal with my Mega Venusaur. But other than that, I think I pretty much got the rest of the team right. I did kind of expect the Quillfish as a checks my physical mons and a potential bring for spikes, because my hazard removal is not the best, to be perfectly honest. And as you can see, I didn't bring any real removal, well, I didn't bring removal at all for this battle, so if he tries to hazard sack me, he has all free reign to do so. So with that all out of the way, let's just jump right into the lead matchup here. As for my estimation, I had only 2 leads, to be perfectly honest here. That was to either lead off with my Raikou or lead off with my Swampert here and try to get my rocks early. But I figured at the end of the day, I would try to lead off with my Raikou here. If he leads off with Donphan, then I'll be forced to switch out. I don't want to risk taking a turn with an Earthquake. I'll have to go hard to my Swampert and whatnot. So I figured I'd lead off with my Raikou and let the chips fall where they make. So we're going to start the battle here and see how we do. This is a pretty lengthy battle. It's 45 turns long, so it's going to be sped up a little bit just because there are some turns where it does get a bit stally during the duration of this battle. So he's going to lead up with his Superior as I lead up with my Raikou here. So what I'm going to do turn 1 here is I'm going to just go for the Toxic here, just try to whittle this thing down. We connect the Toxic on the Superior, which is very, very nice. Putting this thing on a timer is great and all, and he's going to reveal the Mirror Coat this turn, so he probably expected me to have like Signal Beam for the Superior and whatnot. So what it allows me to do now is I'm going to get up a Substitute here as he decides to go out into his Donphan, which is perfect because this is the main thing I brought this particular set for, was to get a Poison off on this Donphan to make things a little bit easier for my Lycanroc Dusk and for my Swampert in a sense of the variation. So we managed to get the Toxic off on the Donphan here, and I'm pretty happy with that. He's going to go for the Earthquake and break my sub. But as far as I'm concerned, these first 3 turns have been perfect for me. I got a Toxic off on the Superior, and I most importantly got a Toxic off on this Donphan, which is great for my Lycanroc, as I said earlier. So what's going to happen here, I'm going to make the switch out into my Celesteela. I expected him to go for another Earthquake, but he decided to get up his Rocks this turn, so Rocks are up for the rest of the game on my side of the field, unless he has like Defog Superior. But outside of that, what I'm going to do this turn here is I'm going to fire off an Air Slash here, just to see what his response is to be, but he decides to go hard into his Charizard here on my Air Slash, and as you want to see, it does an okay amount, about 40%, although this is an offensive Celesteela. So now I'm going to make the switch out into my Swampert here, as he is just going to go for the Mega Evolution, and I believe this turn he's just going to go for the Roost to get back himself to full. Now this upcoming turn, I could have went for Stealth Rock of my own, but at the same time he had that Donphan in the back, and I kind of wanted to just keep on the offensive pressure and just try to get some damage off on anything that comes in. So he's going to send out his Superior here, and I'm going to go out and go for this a safe Earthquake here just to get some damage off on something. Didn't do much, but because he's also poisoned and he reveals to be Leftover Recovery, I get to whittle this thing down a little bit more. Although I do have the switch into this thing being my Mega Venusaur here, but he's going to pull a nice double into his Metagross here, expecting me to go out into my Mega Venusaur to catch the Superior going for like a Leaf Storm or whatever the case may be. So good play on CJ's part here. I'm forced to go back out into my Swampert here, take a little bit more of the Stealth Rock damage, and he's going to go for the safe Zen Headbutt. Get off a good chunk of damage on my Swampert, and he's going to take the Rocky Helmet recoil, and then he's going to reveal the Grass Knot on the Metagross and effectively take out my Swampert here. So this is pretty bad for me because of the fact that I now lost my main switch into Charizard. But on the flip side, I did get off chip damage on this Metagross with the Rocky Helmet. So thank goodness for small favors and anything. So I go to my Celesteela here. He's going to go out into his Quillfish. I'm going to go for the very safe Hidden Power Ground here, because I know for a fact that Braviary isn't going to come in on a Celesteela without knowing what his moveset is. He's already saw Air Slash, so I'm going to make the switch out into my Raikou here after getting also damage to Hidden Power Ground. And he's going to reveal the Thunder Wave on the Quillfish, trying to paralyze my Celesteela, since he knows at this point that my Celesteela is in fact an offensive variant. So here I kind of play a little bit badly around this Quillfish, as he gave me the opportunity to take out the Quillfish with my Raikou, and I decided to not take advantage of that because I didn't want him. I expected him to switch out, try to preserve Quillfish for Intimidate purposes. So now this turn I'm going to go for my Thunderbolt here as he makes the play out into his Donphan, which is totally fine because what he doesn't know at this point yet is I haven't revealed the Protect on this Donphan. So at the very least I can get some chip damage off via the Toxic on this Donphan. So I'm going to go for the Protect here just to scout and see what he plans on doing here. And he's actually going to reveal the Roar and force out my Raikou, but luckily for me I get my Venusaur dragged in to the fray. I get the Stealth Rock damage here, but what this allows me to do now is I finally get the opportunity to Mega Evolve my Venusaur, and I'm going to go for the Sleep Powder this turn here as he switches out here into his Metagross. I'm going to get the Mega Evolution off here. I'm going to go for that Sleep Powder. It was pretty free for me because of the fact that I knew for a fact he does not want to stay in with his Donphan expecting a Giga Drain or anything. So we managed to connect the Sleep Powder on this Metagross here. This Metagross is now asleep. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fire off a Hidden Power Ground here as he's going to make the play and switch out into his Braviary on my Hidden Power Ground, which obviously won't affect it because of the Flying type. He's going to force me out. I'm going to go out into my Raikou this turn, and he is going to go for the Substitute here, expecting my switch. So I'm it seems as though at this point he's pretty much dictating the pace of the battle at this point, but I still feel confident in my endgame, which is essentially just trying to win with either my Celesteela or my Gardevoir, which was the entire purpose of me making the plays I make here. So we're going to pop this Braviary Substitute with the Thunderbolt. He's going to go for the Brave Bird, try to get some damage off on my Raikou, and you see me live that rather comfortably. No problem with that. So now I'm going to go for a Substitute of my own, expecting him to preserve his Braviary in the back for my Venusaur. He is going to switch out and go out into his Superior this time, instead of going hard into Donphan here. So I'm going to get my Substitute up, get some Leftovers Recovery, and now it's pretty much more of a case of trying to stall out my opponent here because I know I'm faster. And on top of that, I'm just going to go for the Protect, pretty much force him to break my sub with an attacking move. He's going to take some extra PP from the pressure, but here he reveals he has the Synthesis on his Superior. So we see Synthesis and we see Mirror Coat from the Superior. I know he has to have Leaf Storm as one of his last two moves, so I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt here just to get some damage off on the Superior. and then he's going to fire off the Leaf Storm here, as I knew he would have that move. So the substitute is going to break on my Raikou here. Now here is where I felt as though I made a bit of a misplay, because what I'm going to end up doing here after this turn of leftovers and poison damage takes into effect on the superior, I'm going to click substitute again, but what I should have did in hindsight this particular turn was I should have went for protect first. As you see, he goes for another Leaf Storm, breaks my sub, but what essentially would have happened is if I went for protect first, I would have had more HP, then I would have been able to substitute the following turn and then repeat the process. Because essentially speaking, I'm forcing him to break my sub with Leaf Storm or Hidden Power if that is his fourth move. But at the same time, I wanted to at least try to get into a situation where I don't really need not only my Raikou, but my Mega Venusaur's use from this is also kind of limited because it's really only here now just to check this. And if Raikou's PP stalling this thing out of Leaf Storms, then I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. Especially considering I still have my Lycanroc in the back, which can pick it off after another round of poison damage. I try to go for a double protect this turn. I don't get it, but my Raikou is going to go down here. But Raikou did its job in this game as far as I'm concerned, getting the poison off on the superior, and more importantly, getting the toxic off on the Donphan, which is nice for my Lycanroc. So here I want to make the play out into my Celesteela, my Venusaur, excuse me, and he's going to go for a Leaf Storm here. I want to go for the Synthesis here because I figured he would have like Hidden Power Fire to hit my Celesteela and my Venusaur, but he goes for another Leaf Storm here even though he's already at +6 at this point. So it's either he doesn't have a coverage move, or Leaf Storm's his only attack. So now I'm going to make the play and go for my Sludge Bomb here, and he goes out into his Braviary on my Sludge Bomb. So figure I get some nice damage off with the Braviary here. At the very least, let me try to get a poison off on this Braviary. So he's going to go for the Roost here, get some health back, and I'm going to go for another Sludge Bomb here, as I am going to essentially get the poison on the Braviary right here, which is nice, mitigating his leftover recovery. So now here, after this turn, is where the battle gets a little bit stally. So here he's going to attack me, go for the Brave Bird on my Mega Venusaur, but thanks to my defense investment, we are going to live that 127 HP. He's going to take some Micro damage, and we're going to fire off a Sludge Bomb, and we're going to just miss taking out the Braviary with a combination of Sludge Bomb plus the poison damage. So what's going to happen at this point is, since his superior is already severely weakened and is essentially not a factor in my estimation in this case, there is no need for me to keep around my Venusaur. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to force the issue with his Braviary, force him to take out my Venusaur and give me a free switch into my Lycanroc or my Celesteela, but I figured Lycanroc is the better option at this point, because what this allows me to do afterwards is go to the line Lycanroc, pick this thing off with Stone Edge. Even if he goes into Donphan, what I'm going to do is make the play out and go hard to my Gardevoir here. There was also an instance where I actually wanted to go hard Lycanroc during this exchange of Roost versus Sludge Bomb, because I just wanted to get back some momentum and be aggressive, but I stuck with my plan of making sure that Lycanroc comes in while trying to take a hit at some point, because I still don't know what his fourth move is. All I've seen is Substitute, Roost, and Brave Bird. His fourth move could be Superpower. He could be waiting for the opportunity for me to go out into my Lycanroc, trying to time it and go for a Superpower and take out my Lycanroc essentially. But now it's going to get to the point where he finally attacks me with the Brave Bird here after about 5 or 6 turns of Roost stalling for the most part, trying to get some HP back on his Braviary. So we're essentially down 3-6 at this point, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm in a losing position, because now I'm going to go out to my Lycanroc here and just try to pick things off with a Stone Edge, and we're going to go for the Stone Edge here. I probably should have went for Accelerock, but we are going to connect the Stone Edge on the Braviary, and down it goes. So we're finally going to pick up a kill in this matchup here after about 30 turns, somewhat. So he's going to go into his Donphan here, and I know he's probably expecting me to go out into my Celesteela again, but I'm going to play go into my Gardevoir here, because all I need to do now at this point is try to get an opportunity to set up my Trick Room. So he's going to make the switch out, the double into his Charizard, expecting me to go into Celesteela. And I'm like, please, go for Dragon Dance. He does go for Dragon Dance on the turn. I decide to bust out the Trick Room on the Charizard going for Dragon Dance. So now the speed advantage is now in my favor. So with that, I'm going to fire up a free Moonblast. Moonblast is free because of the fact that his Metagross is still asleep and hasn't burnt any sleep turns. And he's forced to pick off my Gardevoir with the Flare Blitz because he needs this thing gone. But unfortunately for him, the recoil from Flare Blitz is going to kill him too, so essentially his biggest threat to my Celesteela is now out of the window, and on top of that, I have Trick Room up and my Celesteela is slower than everything on his team. So he's going to send out his Quillfish here to go onto my Celesteela. I'm going to fire up a Hidden Power Ground, and we are going to take out this Quillfish, so we don't have to worry about no hazard stacking for the rest of this match. Get my Beast Boost, get a special attack boost, and we're going to go out into his Donphan here. He's going to make a great play and bait me into going for Giga Drain as he makes a double out into his Metagross, which is totally fine because of the fact that afterwards I just get to go for a free +1 Hidden Power Ground because he really doesn't have any real switches to my Celesteela set right now. So I go for the Hidden Power Ground here. It's +1, and you can see it's going to live. Metagross is going to remain asleep as the Trick Room does end this turn. But unfortunately for CJ, his Metagross is going to remain asleep as I'm going to fire up another Hidden Power Ground, take out the Metagross, and we are going to pick up a second kill with our Celesteela here, and all he has left is a Weakened Superior and a Donphan, which I'm pretty sure cannot touch me considering I've already seen 3 of its 4 moves. He's going to go for the Leech Seed here, revealing his 4th move does not even be Hidden Power. He's going to unfortunately miss, which I don't think the miss matter at this point because at this point Celesteela is just going to clean up the rest of the game here. So yeah, after some stally moments and me trying to pick my spots here, we're going to end this game with the Z Air Slash from my Celesteela from +3. We're going to take out the Donphan in style, and wouldn't you know, after a rough week 2, we are going to pick up a hard-fought and well-deserved 2-0 win over the Baltimore Oriolus and Coach Choice CJ. So first and foremost, good game to CJ. That was one heck of a battle, I'm not going to lie. There was so many back and forth moments, but the critical point of this battle pretty much came the turn where the Charizard went for the Dragon Dance on the turn my Gardevoir went for a Trick Room, and once the Trick Room was set up and I had the speed advantage in my favor, it was pretty much CJ on the back foot. He pretty much forced to take out my Gardevoir with a Charizard X, and once the Charizard went down, it made it that much harder for him to take out my Celesteela, and once Celesteela was in with Trick Room up, it was essentially at that point it was going to be very, very difficult for him to come back from that kind of position, especially considering that he pretty much had the advantage early on in the match, being up 6-3, and then we brought it back the way we did. So I am very, very happy with the way the battle turned out in my estimation. Despite the fact that I did kind of play a little bit passively and not take advantage of some situations, I do feel very, very good about the fact that everything on my team, as minuscule as it was, did play a deciding factor in the result of this battle. The Raikou especially, putting in the work, getting the Toxic off of the Superior and the Donphan like I had hoped it would during my team builder. Celesteela, although I didn't get it autotomized up, still got that mini sweep going with assistance from Gardevoir's Trick Room. Lycanroc taking out the Braviary and still having that option in the back to pick off the Metagross if I had to. Swampert, unfortunately I wasn't able to get up rocks this game, but I was able to get some crucial Rocky Helmet damage off on the Metagross with Zen Headbutt into Grass Knot, so thank goodness for small favors. The Gardevoir I already mentioned, getting up that Trick Room was very, very clutch during the end game for my Celesteela. And of course, Mega Venusaur, more importantly, put that Metagross to sleep and put me in the position that I was able to without having to worry about my Celesteela taking damage from the Metagross. So, a very nice bounce back win as far as I'm concerned. A very solid 2-0 win, a very well-deserved 2-0 win in my estimation. This was a very, very fun drawn-out game, I do feel, but 45 turns where every turn I felt as though played a crucial part in how the game ended up getting to this point. But all in all, this came down to me preserving my win con for the end game, being the Celesteela or the Gardevoir. Just ended up being the Celesteela with some help from the Gardevoir via Trick Room, Celesteela picking up 4 kills in this game, and I'm very, very happy about that. So we are now back on the winning track. We are now 2-1 after 3 weeks with a +1 differential. I'm very, very happy with this game. It was a very clean game, very fun game. There was hardly any hacks to mention to decide to change the outcome of this battle, which I am very, very grateful for, especially after what happened to me last week. So yeah, that's going to be it for the battle. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, feel free to check out my opponent's side of the battle. His links and stuff, like I said in the beginning, will be in the description down below, as well as the other coaches in the MPL. So yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. But before I actually sign off on this video, I do want to make one more announcement. I did make some transactions after this battle, heading into our Week 4 game against Keegan and his Olympique Flygon. And that being, I did mention in the team builder part that there will be 2 Pokemon I am bringing in this game that I won't be using again for the rest of the season. Those 2 Pokemon being Lycanroc Dusk and the Raikou. I did unfortunately drop them. But I do feel as though the replacements are going to be just as effective as they were in this game. So the first Pokemon I picked up in exchange for these 2 Pokemon is the Aerodactyl, just to have just give me something fast, another Stealth Rocker, a potential Defogger, and all that stuff. But the main one I picked up was the my second free agent pickup, and that just so happened to be the exact same Pokemon that did us in last week. So yeah, you heard that right, folks. Kyurem Black, the mon that got 5 kills against me last week, is now on my team effective next week. So yeah, starting week 4, you will see Kyurem Black on the main red Clawitzers teaming up with Celesteela, Mega Venusaur, and the rest of the gang. So yeah, pretty fun times as far as I'm concerned. I hope you guys are looking forward to it as much as I am. So yeah, be on the lookout next week, week 4. The debut of Kyurem Black with the main red Clawitzers. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. And until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing off for now. Peace out.